systems of this world of buying and selling that are affected by inflation. Loss of... When I first went to Nigeria in 1982, my sister Esther, I went with $100 as pocket money. I could only buy 70 naira, 50 kobo, 1982. I went back 3 years ago. With $1, I bought 450 naira. That's the world system of buying and selling. When I started traveling internationally, I was buying $1 for 7 shillings. The British pound was 13 shillings, Julian. That's just the other day, Today, I'll buy $1 for 145, 150. Am I correct? This system of buying and selling is failing. I don't know why you don't see it. Money is failing. I don't know why you don't see it. You are a kingdom person. Stop operating in that system. It will fail you. The system you should operate in is a kingdom system of seed time. Some of you refuse to say. It's a kingdom of what? Seed time and harvest. Let me give you an example. I'm in the book of Luke chapter 16. Look at verse 1. Luke 16 verse 1. Let's learn 1 or 2 lessons from here. I'll teach you this principle. There was a certain man, a rich man who had a steward. Who had a what? He had an employee. He had a what? You're not reading for me. So we agreed we are going to read. Let's start from there. 3-4. There was a certain rich man who had a what? And an accusation was brought against him that this man was wasting his goods. What was the next statement? Go to verse 2. So he called him and said to him, what is this I hear about you? Give an account of your stewardship, for you can no longer be mine. He was being sacked. Tell your neighbor he was being sacked. What is the reaction? He says, then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my master is sacking me. And I cannot. No, read the Lord. I cannot. I am ashamed to. Go and get your neighbor, wake them out, tell them, neighbor, if you lost your job today, and your only option is either to dig or beg, you are in serious trouble. But isn't this the condition of many of us? If we lost our job today, many of us shall end up either begging or digging. As you listen to what I'm teaching today, that shall not be your story. I said that shall not be your story. After what this man did, go to verse 8 quickly. Go to verse 8 very quickly. So, read with me. So the master commended the unjust steward because he went into corruption. Because he dealt shrewdly. But there's something I'm looking for. It's the next sentence. Read that with a loud voice. What does it say? For the sons of this world are more shrewd in their generation than the sons of light. In other words, you cannot compete with the world in their own system, in their own paradigm, and win. You will lose. I'll say that again. You cannot compete with the worldly people in their paradigm and win. Jesus is saying they are more shrewd, they are more clever than you in their own system. You cannot win in that system. Then, like, this is with a light touch. Look at the following verse, with a light touch. But there's some truth in it. And I say to you, this is Jesus talking. Read with me that. Make friends for yourselves by unrighteous mammon than when you fail. Now, if you read another translation, it says, when money fails. In the English Standard Version, it says, when money fails, they may receive you into the everlasting home. What is Christ saying? Sometimes, give me that in the ESV if you have got ESV. Because sometimes you want you to understand, sometimes money fails. So that and righteous way, so that when it fails, tell your neighbor, sometimes money does what? Fails. So you cannot depend on this. But you've got to connect yourself to the word of God. I mean, Luke chapter 6 verse 38. Luke 6:38. Put it up there very quickly. Luke 6:38. What's the next word? I thought you are reading. What is the next word? Continue. How shall it come back to you? Yes? Yes? This is Jesus talking. Everybody else is depending on buying and selling. What he's telling his people, learn to give and to be given back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. The choice is yours. Tell your neighbor, the choice is yours. What choice do you have? Get out of that system of buying and selling. Start connecting yourself with that system of sowing and reaping. Because it is in that system where you activate the principle of seed time and harvest. Listen to what I say right now. Look at your neighbor and preach for me in the next 1 minute. I tell them, neighbor, whatever leaves your hand does not leave your life. It goes ahead of you. When you find it, it shall not be the same way. It will have been pressed down, shaken together, and running. But the choice is yours. You choose the measure to use. If you use kasuku, mkebe ya kasuku, ama debe, 20 liter jerrycan, or you use a pickup or a becky, or you use a canter, or use a tipper, or use a trailer, the choice is God shall use the same measure, only that he shall press it, shake it, running over, and shall bring to pour to you. The choice is yours. You sow sparingly, you shall reap how? Sparingly. I like what he says in 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9. Put it up there very quickly. 2 Corinthians. I want to teach you this principle. I want chapter 9 verse 8. This is for another message, sorry. Chapter 9 verse 8. Go chapter 9 verse 8. Chapter 9 verse 8. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Chapter 9 verse 8. What does it say? Read with a loud voice. What does it say? God is able to make what? Do what? Abounds towards you. That you always, having what? All sufficiency. In how many things? May have what? For what kind of work? You paying your school fees on time is a good work. There are no parents here. Are there parents on this side? You paying your rent in the right time is a good work. Having food on your table is a good work. Paying schools for your children on time is a good work. And God is able to make all grace abounds towards you, that you always having all sufficiency. In how many things? In all things. Only God can do that. May have an abundance for every good work. Go to the next one. I'm looking for the next verse. Verse 9. Verse 9. As it is written, he has dispersed abroad. He has given to who? To the poor. His righteousness endures for what? Forever. Look at verse 10. Read verse 10 with me. Look at verse. What does it say? Now may he. That's my prayer. What does it say? Now may he who supplies what? To the sower. And what else? Acha kwenda mbio. Acha kwenda mbio. God supplies what? Seed to the sower and bread to the eater. This money in my hand has two potentials. This money can be